Come on, Jasmine. Get up. Get up. No. No. Come on. You've done it for several days in a row. Now get up there. Get up there. Come on. What is your problem? Get up there. Come on. Come on. Good morning, everybody. This is Built on the Rock Homestead. Thank you for joining me. I thought I'd bring you with me. I just milked the goats not too long ago, and I've been wanting to make chreve. Well, when I got the cultures, and I haven't made cheese in a couple years because of not having enough milk to make cheese. And so when I got this, I noticed, okay, I don't know if I can make this visible, but it says you're supposed to heat the milk up to 86 degrees and then let it sit at 72 degrees. Well, number one, a goat's normal body temperature is 102.5, so by the time the milk usually comes out about 100 degrees, so that's already too hot. If you put it in the refrigerator, it's going to get way too cold. And our outside temperatures, even though it's cooled off and we're no longer hitting 100 every day, it's still in the 90s. So I was like, what the heck do I do? Wait till winter to make this? So I got on a Facebook group that has to do with goat cheese and asked, and I got some suggestions. Mostly I got laughed at because I was complaining about, at the time it was, in the hundreds, over 105 every day, and our lows were in the 80s. So they were laughing at the predicament, not at me. But this morning I decided I really want to make cheese, and an idea came to me. I get over half a gallon every day. So I took 1/2 gallon and put it in the pot. And then I went to the refrigerator and got 1/2 gallon and put it in the pot. Now that did bring the temperature down to 80. So I had to heat it a teeny bit, and I got it a little too hot. It's really hard. It can go above temp really fast. So I had to let it cool a little bit. I think next time I may put all the milk that I get from the goat, which is about a little over a cup and a half plus the 1/2 gallon, and put it in the pot, and then add enough cold milk to make a full gallon, and see if that gets closer to the correct temperature. The next thing you're supposed to do is this is the chreve culture, and they want you to put it in here for 2 minutes. Just put it in there and let it rehydrate for 2 minutes. Then you're supposed to stir gently, and it should be all metal utensils. You don't want to, no, you use metal utensils, just saying that. So I'm going to do that, and I've got a clean lid over here I'm going to put on top because I am under a tree, and there's animals out here, but I'm just going to let it sit here. And hopefully it will just, even though, because it's hot in the house, it's hot out here, I'm not going to be able to get it down to 72 degrees. Well, maybe if I'd done this at night, it would have worked, but I'm milking the goats during the day. And you're supposed to let it sit for 12 hours or until it thickens up, and then you cut the curds, and it's soft cheese. Chreve is soft. And so you remove it. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to add the chreve culture, let it sit for 2 minutes, and then I'm going to stir it in and put the lid on, and then let it just sit here and see what happens. Okay, I just fed all the chickens, and before I fed the chickens, I came out here and moved the lid to the chreve. It's been sitting here. It was like mid-morning, maybe 10 o'clock or so that I started this. I forgot to look at the time. And just sitting here, it's pretty warm. It's supposed to stay above, between 86 and 72, and it's above that. And that's just from the air temperature. So I'm going to see, you can tell that, there is some cheese, some curds. Something has been going on. It's not like I would expect, but when I pull it from the bottom, I get curds. They're all on the bottom. They sunk to the bottom. So I need two hands, so I can't film it. Well, I could tie the phone to that tree, but I don't think that would work too well. I just washed all this. Rinsed this off because it's been in storage for a while, so I wanted to clean it. This is muslin. And I am going to drape it over this and start ladling my cheese into here so that the curds can separate from the whey. Sorry, I have no way to, if I had somebody who could film for me, I would show it to you, but I don't. I eventually just dumped the whole pot in here, and this is just the curds. That held a gallon of milk. This can hold 2 gallons of milk, so there's plenty of room for straining. Now, one way you can do is just gather all these up and tie them together, all the sides, just tie it, and then either by hand twist it around or like hang it from your cupboard. I actually have something that someone built me so I can hang cheese. But honestly, I think I'm just going to gather this up and try to squeeze out a bunch. This may have sat too long because it's warm outside, and like maybe if it had been cooler, I don't know. It just seems like it doesn't need as much whey squeezed out than I've seen in a video that I watched. So I'm gonna gather up all this and try to squeeze some of more of the whey out. So you can see, here's all the whey. And then after I have had enough of the whey out that I like the consistency, I can just maybe put it back in this pot and add some salt, add whatever seasonings I want. At least you need to salt it. And not with iodinized salt. You can actually buy salt for cheese making. But you can also add other herbs and make flavored chreve. I think this is my first time. I'm just going to do the salt and see how that tastes and, experiment a little bit. But I got cheese and it worked. I think the next time I am going to adjust how much, like I'll use all the milk I get from the goats that day and then just add enough cold milk and see if that makes the temperature better. But I've done it. Okay, I made this into a ball and twisted it around and squeezed a bunch more whey out. And that's what I have. This has not been salted. I'll take it into the house to do the salting and everything. And this is the whey. Now, whey has so many wonderful uses. You can use it dilute it and use it as a fertilizer in the garden. You can feed it to your dogs or other animals that can tolerate dairy products. You can, though you really don't get much ricotta, but some people make ricotta cheese out of it. Honestly, when I need ricotta cheese, I just take whole milk and make ricotta because I never get very much ricotta out of whey. But you can use whey in place of milk when making muffins or biscuits like you would buttermilk. And it's so healthy for you. It is such a good product. So you do not toss it in the trash. If you're trying to figure out what to do with your whey, look it up because there's, so many recipes that can be substituted for milk or even buttermilk, and your animals and even you. It is very, very, very healthy. I don't really do much baking, so I'm going to give this as a treat to my dogs today because it would be really good for their tummies, and they'll be thrilled. So I'm going to take this in. Actually, I'm going to put this on here to keep debris out from the tree. And I'm going to take this into the house, and I'm going to salt it and put it in a container and stick it in the fridge. Sometimes when you're milking an animal or just whatever, you just got to make some adjustments. Before I started working on this floor, Tiffany would jump on the milk stand, no problems. Didn't have any issues whatsoever with her. And then I spent a couple years sitting cross-legged on the ground in various locations milking the goats. And even did that at the start of this season. But I often gave up because we'd get rain or whatever, and they had the kids on them. Well, when the floor finished and I sold all the kids, I had no choice. I had to milk the goats. And with the floor being done and the milk stall being pretty much a place I could use again, I started bringing everybody in here. And I don't know why. At first she would jump on, but then she quickly, within a week, just started fighting me. And she wouldn't even come. There were many days that I could not get her to even come here. And if she did come, she would fight me tooth and nail about getting on the dang milking stand. Some days I got her up, and once she would get up, she was happy, and I could milk her. Hey, come on. No, don't you do that. Let me get her out of here. Okay, Tiffany's out back at the hay feeder. It's only 9, maybe 9:30 by now. I start milking around or getting prepped around 9-ish, give or take. And I'm just hot and sweaty, and the sweat's dripping off of me. So this won't be long because I need to get this milk in the house. But it was a major effort. I literally was having to pick Tiffany up and to put her on the milk stand. Once up, she was fine. I could milk her, but then it was a battle the very next day. Would not come. Eventually, there were days she didn't get milked. I couldn't get her to come in to get milked. Even though I knew she wanted the grain, but that wasn't enough. She was not going to get on the stand. And so I finally just kind of gave up. And I started feeding her in the spot you just saw her in. And she wanted the grain. She started coming. And it became obvious, as long as I milked her on the ground like that, and I would just sit at the end of the milking stall so I didn't have to get on the ground and milk her, she's a happy camper. But I don't know why, she will not get on the stand. And so I now have 2 goats that come in here who jump on the stand, get milked on the stand, everything's happy. And then I let Sydney come in here to get a snack, but she doesn't get milked. I let her dry up. Her kid died, and I don't know if it was a stillbirth or what, but her baby didn't make it, so not milking during all the storms and everything this spring, she just dried up. But Tiffany's last, and I milk her where I showed you, and it's working great. Doing that. So I'm just saying sometimes you got to make adjustments. I would love to get Tiffany back on the stand. Maybe next season she'll be a happy camper and get on the stand. She can do it. She's not showing any signs of like it hurts her to jump on the stand or anything like that. And she's not that old. So I don't know what her issue is. She just won't get on the milking stand. So I just milk her while she's, in her own little spot and she's happy. And yeah, I have to bend over to milk her, but it's not the end of the world.